very 90s right now, like just my hair, everything going on. Hi guys, so today I'm here to do a review for this book I just read, Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I would like to start off by saying this is not a spoiler-free review, and that being the case, I will get right into it. I did give Uprooted a 5-star rating on Goodreads. I adored this book. I thought this book was great. I have 9 tabs, and I'm sure once I do a reread of this eventually I will have more tabs to add. This book was great. I really loved getting back into my roots, and fun. I loved getting back into my roots. I am such a huge fantasy nerd. I enjoy all things fantasy, and it's been a really long time since I've read an adult fantasy book. I mean, I read a lot of YA, and this was the first time in a while that I kind of branched out of YA and read an adult fantasy book. So I really enjoyed it. Uprooted is Agnieszka's story. She is this girl in a village who is protected by this man that they call the dragon. He is a wizard that watches over their village and kind of helps to protect the kingdom from this evil wood. There's this darkness, this corrupt forest really, that kind of just inches closer little by little, and it can overcome villages and just take them into the wood, and it destroys life, and it's just really evil and dark and gritty. And so the dragon kind of protects this village from the wood using his powers, and part of his agreement is that every 10 years he does take a girl from the village to live with him in his tower. The girls are treated very well. After the 10 years they all come back saying, you know, like he didn't abuse them or he didn't sleep with them, and he just kind of had them take care of the tower for him while he did his thing. And so basically he just kind of steals a prominent girl from the village and makes her his, like, a glorified maid, I guess. And everybody in Agnieszka's village knows that it's going to be Kasia who is chosen. I think it's Kasia. It might be Katya. I'm not sure on the pronunciation. A lot of this I think is like Russian maybe pronunciation. But yeah, so Kasia is, everybody knows Kasia is going to be chosen. She's the prettiest girl in the village. She's the most talented. She's really good at cooking and cleaning, and she's kind of been raised her whole life knowing that she is the one that's going to be chosen by the dragon. And so when the day comes for him to choose, he does not choose Kasia, and he does in fact begrudgingly choose Agnieszka. Nobody knows why, Agnieszka herself included. She's very clumsy, she's always dirty, she's just like a mess, like physically a mess, not like mentally. She's, you know, pretty put together, but she's just like not sure why he chose her, and nobody in the village really understands. Everybody thought it was going to be Kasia, including Katya. What's her name? Agnieszka is in fact chosen by the dragon, and he does take her, you know, he whisks her away to his tower, and she is terrified. She has no idea what to do. She was not prepared for this at all. So she has no idea what she's supposed to be doing. She just kind of randomly will cook him a meal and bring it to him. The meal is a mess. She's a mess because she's always, like I said, really clumsy, really dirty. And he just kind of is like, no, get out, I don't want that, go away. She's like, well, you know, what's going on, why'd you choose me? Come to find out, Agnieszka actually is a witch. She has magic, she never knew about it, and that is why she was very clumsy, and that is why she was always, you know, dirt was very attracted to her, and she always made a mess of things. And that was because she actually had magic, and that was kind of her body's way of telling her, hey, no, you have a different way you need to be doing things. You're not normal. That is actually why the dragon chose her. He chose her because he realized that she had magic and that he needed to help train her to use her magic. That kind of will be my segue into one of my favorite parts about Uprooted, and that was the magic in this book. It's very unique. The magic in itself is kind of like a character in the way that it progresses in the story. You have Agnieszka, who is a witch, like I said, and she has a very different type of magic than the dragon, whose name is Sarkin. Sarkin's magic is very by the book. It's very technical. It's very, this is what it says here, this is what I read out loud, this is my incantation, and this is what happens. This is very by the book. Where you have Agnieszka, and that's not working for her, and Sarkin doesn't understand. He's getting very annoyed and frustrated and mean, and he doesn't get it. He's like, you know, you're a witch, you have power, why isn't it working? What are you doing wrong? What's wrong with you? And in reality, it's because Agnieszka does her magic and has her magic in a very different way than Sarkin. Where he's by the book, she's very emotional with her magic. It's very much about feeling. Her magic is very different. When I was reading it, it kind of felt like Agnieszka found the magic in the magic. Whereas Sarkin's very wordy with his, she's very emotional with hers. She understands magic in a very different way than Sarkin, and so that kind of causes a lot of tension between the two of them. But they make it work, and when they use their magic together, it always creates something beautiful, whether they're healing somebody or finding some answer to some unsolved mystery. Whatever the case may be, when they do it together, it always ends up working out really well because they're using their two different, very different types of magic. The character of the dragon took a little bit of getting used to for me. I didn't really like him at first, but as the story progressed, I loved him. The banter that him and Agnieszka work up together is really, really funny. He's kind of like an old man yelling at people to get off of his lawn, and she's kind of like the youth of today coming in with the newfangled technology and the new ideas, and he doesn't want any part of it. Eventually he'll come around. But I really, really loved their banter. It was really funny. There is this one scene that sticks out with me, and he's yelling at her for something, and he like goes to insult her, and he says something along the lines of, oh, you know, pig farmer's daughter, and she's like, oh, my father's a woodcutter, and he's just like, you woodcutter's daughter. Like, there was no pause or anything. It just flowed, and it was really funny, and I really liked their friendship that they had. What I really enjoyed about Uprooted was the quiet romance between the two characters of Agnieszka and Sarkin. When I initially read Uprooted, I kind of had wished that there was more romance, but then when I thought about it, it really is portrayed very realistically, their romance. It started out as tolerance and then kind of grew into begrudging respect, and then from there it blossomed into a very quiet love. And when you read Uprooted and you kind of see that character development, you realize how much Sarkin really has changed from the beginning of the book to the end, especially with the, finale of the story. I won't spoil the ending for you, but I really liked it, and I thought it fit his character very well, and her character as well, but more so Sarkin's character. It was more so what he does at the end of the story, and you're just kind of like, good. I really enjoyed how well the two characters worked together. Separate, their magic could move worlds, but together they could save them, and that's something I really, really loved about these characters. It's really about them trying to get to the root of the problem and figure out why this wood is doing what it does, how it's doing what it does, what is the force behind it, what's motivating it. And that's the big mystery, I would say, of the book, is how this wood even exists and what its purpose is, and why it's doing the things that it does. I really enjoyed the wood in the story because it was very different. It was different having a villain be a forest, and that's essentially what this villain in Uprooted is. And I thought it was written very uniquely, and I really, really enjoyed it. Typically you just have, there's a dude, or there's a girl, or there's a team of people that are bad, and in this case, no, it really is this forest, and it can manipulate your emotions and manipulate your mind and your heart, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was very different. I honestly could read an entire book just about the wood because that's how cool I thought it was. Do you have like different side plots going on? There's Agnieszka, dealing with the fact that she is a witch, and then you do have Kasia on the other hand, who her whole life thought her life was going to end at 18 or 17, I think they are. She thought it was just going to be over for her. She was going to go to the tower, and the next 10 years she'd be there, and then she'd leave and have to deal with her life then. But now she has to deal with the fact that no, she now has her whole life ahead of her, but she doesn't know what to do with it. I did enjoy Kasia and Agnieszka's friendship. I thought it was a very good friendship, and it's kind of rare to find, I think, a good friendship in books, especially when it is two female characters, because it's either they have like this bickering friendship, which I find more common lately, but I really enjoyed their friendship because Agnieszka just adored Kasia. She'd do anything for her, and friendship is very important to the story. it does serve as the backdrop for a lot of the different side plots that are happening at the time in the book. And without spoiling too much of it for you, I just really enjoyed Uprooted. I hope you like it. I hope you give it a chance. This is the first time I've ever read anything by Naomi Novik. I know she has like a series out right now. I think there's a new one getting ready to come out, but I haven't read any of that series, and I don't know if I will or not. Part of the appeal of Uprooted for me was that it was a standalone, which I'm trying to read more of. I'm trying to get away from series and trilogies right now just because it's a lot of commitment and I'm bad at committing to things. So this is kind of my first review I've done in a really long time where I kind of gave it thought and wrote it all down. And anyway, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let's be friends. I love having friends, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!